And this week, we turn the segment over to the beer goddess. I always love that name, Lisa Morrison, whose popular weekly radio program, Beer O'Clock, can be heard throughout much of the state of Oregon. Welcome back to the program, Lisa.
Hey, Randall, how's it going?
Fantastic, and it's good to talk. We haven't spoken with you since the spring, I think it was.
I know. It's great to be back on.
So later this hour, we'll be discussing the Farm to Bottle event outside Salem, Oregon in a couple of weeks, and you will be featured speaker there, and we'll be chatting about proper beer glassware.
Indeed.
And so most people just think of a pint glass, but even those vary.
Well, and true. And, much like we have really embraced different wine in different glasses, So really, honestly, much like that, there is a perfect glass for every beer as well. And I think we're kind of beginning to move in that direction, but we just need to kind of focus on it a little bit more. And it really does make a difference in how the beer tastes and smells.
Now, I know just from being a server at a brew pub for many years that when we were serving a Weiss or a Doppelweissen or something, we would serve it in the taller glass that comes down skinny at the bottom, like a 22-ounce glass. And I was told anyway by the brewmaster at the time there that it was so that you could take the piece of lemon and throw it into the glass and it would stick and hold in the bottom. Is that the reason?
I hadn't actually ever heard that. But it's kind of true, actually, so that does kind of work. A lot of the reason why it came about that way, and we're talking about the ones that kind of look like a vase, right?
Yes.
Kind of bigger at the top. So what that does is this kind of harkens back to Bavaria, where wheat beers originated, and they're meant to be served with the residual yeast that comes in every bottle. So these really tall glasses are actually by design larger than the amount of beer that you're pouring, so that you can take that bottle and just really dump it into the glass. Make sure to get all that yeast in there, so you've got all that tasty goodness.
I love it.
And then it also gives you a nice big head as well.
Yeah,
so,
and that yeast gives it such a nutty flavor. It's delicious. I always try to buy the unfiltered versions of things if I can.
Oh, yeah. Well, you get all that. And it's packed with vitamins, too, so it's good for you.
Now, let's talk about the tulip glass. Every single glass of beer I have is a tulip glass because I've got my tulips against it.
Very nice.
I need a rim shot here. But what is it? What is a tulip glass?
Well, a tulip glass, it's sexy and curvy. It looks a lot like a tulip. It's got a nice bulbous bottom, and then it kind of flares up at the top.
Okay.
And what that really does, that was actually designed in Belgium for Belgian beers originally. So it really helps, that little opening that kind of flares out helps spread the beer as you're drinking it over your entire mouth, and just spreads it right over the palate, so that you automatically just get everything right there, and you're tasting everything on that beer. And the flared opening also allows the beer to kind of bypass that frothy Belgian head, because their heads are usually so thick and meringuey.
Right.
And so this actually lets the beer kind of flow into the mouth a little more easily. And then the bulbous bowl and narrowing center allow for collection and retention of aroma.
I like that, just like a nice wine glass might do.
Exactly.
And on that topic, the goblet glass. Now, how is that shaped? And I would imagine this is for higher percentage alcohol beers?
Well, it is. And, think of it as like a chalice. So it's a nice big bowl basically on a stem. And originally, again, that was from Belgium, and it's kind of been traditionally for their Abbey and Trappist beers. And that large surface on that shallow bowl easily releases the beer's aroma and dissipates that high carbonation of many Belgian beers, so that you don't get so full when you drink it, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
And it also allows you to hold on to the glass at the bottom. If you wanted to do it that way, you have the choice to hold it by a stem or by the bottom. And if you have a higher alcohol beer that's very complex, you can hold it by the bottom then and let your hand warm the beer, and it will help you get all those different nuances that happen as the beer warms up as you're drinking.
And this would be the glass you would walk around your house in a robe,
exactly.
carrying it with or without with or without your crown. So we have about 30 seconds for you to describe the Pilsner flute, which I don't use very often because I rarely order Pilsners, but they're appropriate on hot days.
They are indeed. Well, I got to tell you, these were the first beers that were light colored and clear. So these glasses are very long flutes. They look like champagne flutes. And they designed them so that they really enhance that color and that clarity, and they allow those bubbles to travel all the way up, which makes it look really pretty as well.
I love it. In 5 seconds, do you have a favorite wine or beer glass maker?
You know, I really like what Spiegelau been doing here lately. They're awesome. And the Offero is a really great one as well. It helps you actually capture all of those aromas. You can look them both up online.
All right, Lisa Morrison, the Beer Goddess, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Catch her website, beergoddess.com. Up next, our Get Fit segment, dark chocolate and red wine, why it's good for you. Back in a moment.